In the Philippines, tropical cyclones are called bagyo. Tropical cyclones entering the Philippine Area of Responsibility are given a local name by the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical and Astronomical Services Administration, which also raises public storm signal warnings as deemed necessary. Around 19 tropical cyclones or storms enter the Philippine Area of Responsibility in a typical year, and of these usually 6 to 9 make landfall. The deadliest overall tropical cyclone to impact the Philippines is believed to have been the Haiphong typhoon, which is estimated to have killed up to 20,000 people as it passed over the country in September 1881. In modern meteorological records, the deadliest storm was Typhoon Haiyan, which became the strongest landfalling tropical cyclone ever recorded as it crossed the central Philippines on November 7, 8, 2013. The wettest known tropical cyclone to impact the archipelago was the July 14, 18, 1911 cyclone, which dropped over 2,210 millimeters of rainfall within a 3-day, 15-hour period in Baguio City. Tropical cyclones usually account for at least 30% of the annual rainfall in the northern Philippines, while being responsible for less than 10% of the annual rainfall in the southern islands. The Philippines is the most exposed large country in the world to tropical cyclones. The cyclones have even affected settlement patterns in the northern islands. For example, the eastern coast of Luzon is very sparsely populated. Etymology and naming conventions. It is said that the term bagyo, a Filipino word meaning typhoon, arose after a 1911 storm in the city of Baguio had a record rainfall of 46 inches within a 24-hour period. However, this theory is impossible because the Vocabulario de la Lengua Tagalog, first published in 1754, contains an entry for bagyo, which translates it as tempestad, hurricane, proof that the term bagyo already existed in Tagalog in the 1700s. The reverse entry for hurricane translates it into Tagalog as bagyo, bagyo. Names of storms. Since the middle of the 20th century, American forecasters have named tropical storms after people, originally using only female names. Philippine forecasters from the now PAGASA started assigning Filipino names to storms in 1963 following the American practice, using names of people in alphabetical order, from A to Z. Beginning in January 2000, the World Meteorological Organization's Typhoon Committee began assigning names to storms nominated by the 14 Asian countries who are members, with each country getting 2 to 3 a year. These names, unlike the American and Filipino traditions, are not names for people exclusively but include flowers, animals, food, etc., and they are not in alphabetical order by name but rather in alphabetical order by the country that nominated the name. After January 2000, Filipino forecasters continued their tradition of naming storms that enter the Philippines' area of responsibility, and so there are often 2 names for each storm, the PAGASA name and the so-called international name. Variability in activity. On an annual time scale, activity reaches a minimum in May, before increasing steadily through June, and spiking from July through September, with August being the most active month for tropical cyclones in the Philippines. Activity falls off significantly in October. The most active season, since 1945, for tropical cyclones strikes on the island archipelago was 1993, when 19 tropical cyclones moved through the country. There was only one tropical cyclone which moved through the Philippines in 1958. The most frequently impacted areas of the Philippines by tropical cyclones are northern Luzon and eastern Visayas. A 10-year average of satellite-determined precipitation showed that at least 30% of the annual rainfall in the northern Philippines could be traced to tropical cyclones, while the southern islands receive less than 10% of their annual rainfall from tropical cyclones. Public storm warning signals. The Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical and Astronomical Services Administration releases tropical cyclone warnings in the form of public storm warning signals. An area having a storm signal may be under PSWS number 1. Tropical cyclone winds of 30 km per hour to 60 km per hour are expected within the next 36 hours. PSWS number 2. Tropical cyclone winds of 61 km per hour to 120 km per hour are expected within the next 24 hours. PSWS number 3. Tropical cyclone winds of 121 km per hour to 170 km per hour are expected within the next 18 hours. PSWS number 4, tropical cyclone winds of 171 km per hour to 220 km per hour are expected within 12 hours. PSWS number 5, tropical cyclone winds greater than 220 km per hour are expected within 12 hours. These storm signals are usually raised when an area is about to be hit by a tropical cyclone. As a tropical cyclone gains strength and/or gets nearer to an area having a storm signal, the warning may be upgraded to a higher one in that particular area. Conversely, as a tropical cyclone weakens and/or gets further to an area, it may be downgraded to a lower signal or may be lifted. Classes for preschool are cancelled when signal number 1 is in effect. Elementary and high school classes and below are cancelled under signal number 2 and classes for colleges and universities and below are cancelled under signal NOS 3, 4 and 5. Deadliest cyclones. Most destructive. Wettest recorded tropical cyclones. See also, 2015 Pacific Typhoon Season, 2016 Pacific Typhoon Season, List of Pacific Typhoon Seasons, List of retired Philippine typhoon names. For other storms impacting the Philippines in deadly seasons, see, effects of the 2009 Pacific typhoon season in the Philippines, effects of the 2013 Pacific typhoon season in the Philippines. References. External links, Philippine Tropical Cyclone Update, Typhoon 2000, Monthly Typhoon Tracks, 1951 to 2010, Typhoon Haiyan coverage by CBS News. CRS International Relief Organization quickly mobilizes to help Philippine typhoon victims.